Hey everybody, Tommy Bell here. Welcome to another episode of Sketchy and Funny. Today's super special episode showcases once again my friends at Lingerie Fighting Championships. This is a super special spotlight piece because it's the first time that I'm actually showcasing an LFC prospect. Rylee Jade is right underneath this cover here. Now, as you know, I've already started, but we're going to come up here to the table. I'm going to show you where I'm at and what I'm doing, and I've got a couple more surprises for you. So come on up. Alrighty, gang. So this episode, we are working on LFC prospect Rylee Jade right here. And this is a really special piece for a number of reasons. And we're going to get into that here in just a second. But I have a special guest once again in the studio with me via Zoom, and that is Miss Rylee Jade herself. Hello, Rylee. How are you?
I am good, Tommy. How are you?
I am doing really, really well. As you can see, Rylee, I've kind of cheated and gotten started on a little bit of the coloring, and I'll explain what I did. And then I'll kind of show you just how I do these and just kind of put them together, and we'll just kind of BS because there is no script in Sketchy and Funny. I oftentimes have a clean brush here. It's totally clean. I use this because as I start blending, there's like wax that builds up from the pencil tips, and I brush that away to keep the surface clean. So you'll see me brush a lot as I start blending, and instead of going, what the hell is he doing? It's just
Wait,
to clean the surface so that as I work dark to light, so as I'm working to lighter colors, it's very, if you don't sweep that stuff off, you'll muddy like the cleaner areas, and then you'd be very unhappy.
gotcha. So, do you use a wax pencil to draw?
I use Prismacolor
Okay.
Premieres. So it's almost like a wax, uh, kind of almost a wax, I would want to say, because it really starts to work almost like a very stiff paint when you blend the way I do. And I'll show you how I do that. And right here is the four colors. I'm a simplist. So skin, I'm making out of four colors: a burnt ochre, a beige, a cream, and then a white for like the super, super highlight areas. And I keep them in order because I work dark to light. And so what I was doing here was just messing around with this burnt ochre while I was kind of waiting for the show to start, and just kind of, got your photo that I'm working off of right here. So I, I'm really focusing on all these shadow areas, and I'm taking a good look at them to see what makes Rylee Jade look like Rylee Jade. And I use these little circular motions because this way there's no back and forth like that. And what that does is if you do it really, really soft and you do like a million circles a minute, it makes this really kind of soft look to it almost. It's not 100%, but it will be when I start to blend because the lighter colors will actually push a little bit of the darker colors around. And that's where I kind of achieve a lot of the blending that you see in the drawings that I've done.
That's very neat. I didn't know that, you have to do circular motions. I thought it was just, up and down, up and down.
Right. Well, that's something that I figured out because I've always drawn, and I had a huge love for working with color at an early age. And that was one of the things that I kind of figured out, maybe even like post coloring books. So like maybe starting in junior high when I'm really trying to make things look cool for the first time, and I was having this really difficult time by going up and down to, like, why can't I make this blend? Why can't I make one color turn into another color? Or why isn't this working? And and it was the little circular motions. It's two tricks. It's these little tiny circular motions, and then it's also like this is all one color. So in certain areas, like down here, it's super, super dark, and I'm pressing really hard to get that color in there. But then areas like here where I want it faded out, like this cheekbone here, there's almost nothing there. Just a just the lightest possible touch, because that makes blending from one color to the next a lot easier. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put this down and I'm going to grab this beige color because I make my skin out of 4 colors. And so what I'm going to do now is like I'll kind of glance at this photo and I'm mapping out like the next, basically the next tone area. Some of it's just by sight, I won't lie. But what I do is I start in the lightest area and I map out where I want this color to be. And I'll tell you why, because then I can go darker as I go out and then I'll start pushing into that beige color or the brownish color.
So do
So
you use the same 4 colors on every ethnicity, or is it different?
no, I actually use the same 4. Um, it's just how you use them. The amount of how you use them determines how that look is. So because I've had the great artistic honor of drawing several different ethnicities and several different ladies, and they have different skin tones, and you want to make sure, out of respect for that person, obviously, that you get it as close as you possibly can. And I practice, like I'll take scrap pieces of paper that nobody ever sees, and I practice doing different skin tones and stuff and things. And honestly never really happy with anything other than using these same 4 colors and just
Mhm.
varying the amount of how I use them.
Very
And
neat.
so kind of get lucky with it, a little bit. And I'll be honest, I never always get it 100% right. Um, I'm not using a computer. I can't click back and go, oh, I don't like that. So therefore, I'm gonna go back. If something isn't working in a drawing, you have to work with it because you're just using regular, it's regular paper, regular tools, and all
Mhm.
that stuff. But that's also what makes it fun.
I wonder if it's going to be hard when you have to color in Cebu because he's so fluffy and he's black and white.
Honestly, if you dig back far enough in my portfolio, especially in the 90s, because I did a lot of drawing in the 90s and then I kind of gave it up for a little while. But back then, I did a lot of animals. And
Oh,
so, and even before that, like in high school and stuff, uh, I would draw people, but I would also draw a lot of animals. And so, animals really aren't that difficult for me. In fact, they're a lot of fun to do because they have, their markings and the expressions on their faces are just really, really fun for me to to do. So I don't think Cebu's going to give me much of a challenge. It was much more fun to have you suggest, you know, to put that on there. It's ironic. The last LFC drawing that I did featured Bella Rockefeller and the man puppy, and now
yes.
I'm drawing a cat.
Oh yeah, it's not a what do you call it? Man kitten, man cat.
Right?
Doesn't sound as good, but you know.
Well, the neat thing is that you never know, like you got involved with this drawing, and had some ideas that we kind of put our heads together and said, okay, how can we make this work? Um, and you never know from one LFC drawing to the next what people might want, what they're gonna, request to see, or how, things take their own creative direction because each lady's different and they may want to be, you know, this is your spotlight, so I want it to be and encompass some of the things that you really like. And this was something that was new and different. The LFC just recently did a calendar that featured ladies and their pets, and I just thought, wow, this is kind of neat.
I was actually in the calendar as well, so that's why
Mhm.
I wanted you to put Cebu in as well.
That's why I brought that up because that was just a great shot. But I also didn't want to use, any material from that because it's already out there for the fans. They have that image already. So this is something that's a bit unique and different. And I'll tell you, Riley, because it's, each piece finds its own little special signal somewhere for me. And especially the more I get involved in each drawing, the more special they become. And I'm always, as an artist, I'm striving for ways to make it unique and different. And I've done, I don't remember how many LFC drawings I've done now, but I've done a couple. And I wanted this to look familiar, but take on a brand new look. And so I incorporated this circular emblem here with the LFC glove in it. And I think that's the design that I'm going to carry through for a couple more drawings or whatever, because it's going to pop when the background fills in and the background's darker. My intention is that that's really going to pop and look cool along with your name here. So, I mean, I always do the lady's nameplate somewhere, and I kind of change those up from time to time, but to have this next to it is going to create a really neat balance to things. So this ought to have its own unique look to it, Rylee.
I'm so excited to see the finished product, and I'm really happy that Sebu has a ref shirt too. Maybe he
Yes.
can actually ref a match one day.
Now that would be outstanding. And I'll tell you, like when the conversation around Sebu, your pet, came up, and I was thinking about what would be, artistically, what would be the coolest way to incorporate your pet, so that, because in Artland you can cheat and do things that the pet would never sit through. I have a cat myself, so I know exactly how long their temperament stays pleasant.
Yes.
And like, you have to literally capture that magic moment or they're done for like the day, So but here on the art table, they can sit for hours and hours and hours.
For
And I can do what
sure.
I want to.
When I did the calendar with Sebu, he was so unhappy, like extremely upset. Oh man, trying to get him to sit still, it was a nightmare. He didn't want to do free labor for me. So
Did you have to bribe him later?
yeah, like he's close to me, so I can't say the magic word, but I had
Oh,
TREATs
yeah.
around to, just pop in his mouth
Yeah.
whenever he got mad.
I know exactly how that is. We have a diva here at our house who she thinks she runs the entire show and household and all that. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh.
You have my sympathies.
Oh man.
And so here, just gonna talk about what I'm doing here just a little bit more for you, Rylee, so you can kind of see where it's going. Again, I've been using nothing but these little circular motions, and I'm really going into that brown color. And when I go into that brown color, I'm putting some additional pressure on it. And that forces that blend that I was talking about. And when I'm not recording a show, I will actually, when I have unlimited time to just kind of bang away at this, I will go over an area. I don't even know for how long, because I don't watch the clock when I do this, just to make sure that it's blending and doing exactly what I want it to do. And that's kind of how I do it.
It looks really, really good so far. I can't believe you can do something so fast. We have a special guest here too. He wants to see your artwork.
Oh, look at, there he is. Sebu the Magnificent. And Sebu, there you are. Look,
That's
right,
you.
right
That's
there. That's
you.
going to be you. I'm going to do my best to color you in whisker for whisker, the best I can. That's
Oh
my
my God.
promise.
He's like, what are you doing?
Hey, that's okay. Animal lovers are going to be all over that. Now he's a star. He's going to be immortalized in the LFC artwork. And there you go.
Oh,
He's going to be a rock star now.
he'll be so happy.
You'll have to open up a Instagram page and
For Cebu?
just for the cat. Yeah, you're going to be getting all your fan mail.
Oh man. he gets so upset whenever I try to take pictures of him. He will literally turn away whenever I put a camera in front of him, and then he'll complain.
Well, he's a diva.
Well, he's he's very sweet, but he doesn't like to do free work,
Oh,
you know.
wow. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking about our own household feline, and I'm going, yeah, wow, damn, making a point there. So I'm not going to. Here's what I'm not going to do, Riley. I'm not going to steal all Michael Larkin's thunder for the LFC podcast because it would be very easy for me to start asking you all kinds of questions about the LFC because I'm dying to, but I will, wait for bated breath for the next time you're on his show. But at the same time, why not talk a little bit about the LFC because this show it has got 95% of it, if not more, is LFC related. Sean's incredible. All the people in the LFC have treated me like gold. And now this show is airing on the LFC VIP section of their website.
Are you excited?
It's not really a proper fitting word. I mean, you know what I am, honestly.
You're on.
It's not. I wanted to jump around the house, and all that, and I didn't. What I did was I took a quieter moment and just really soaked in the respect for all those people and for doing all that, like they didn't have to, but they are, and they've been so incredible to me, and that's really what I soaked in. It's just like wow, what a great moment for somebody like me to just have. Maybe to somebody else it seems very simple or whatever, but to me that just so incredibly kind of them to do. And so I'm just really honored that I have that kind of uh, platform gift, if you will, from them. Like that's just incredible.
For sure.
So, and I do want to talk about this too, because I mean, you're right here and I can't resist. Um, I cannot wait for your first fight. Like, let's just bait the hook a little bit with this. Like, how excited are you to hop
Oh,
into that ring on your first event? Lights pop up, the announcer rattles off your name, and it's go time.
you know what? It's been a long time coming. I think I mentioned in Michael's last podcast, I have waited almost 2 years now to debut. And it never worked out before, but there are some good things coming, and I'm really, really excited to debut. I'm I'm hoping to debut in September. We'll see.
That's outstanding. And there's so many people right alongside me who are holding their breath, waiting for that moment. Like, I don't know if you realize that or not, but they we really are. And going back to Michael's podcast, your appearance on his podcast, that was kind of the original seed that put in my head, wow, I had to put her in a drawing because I always love featuring people who see what I'm doing and they support it and they're really fired up about it. Um, it just that's my give back to those people because people like you supporting me and I didn't even know it, and I heard Michael's podcast with you on there and you had mentioned my artwork and stuff and I was like, she wants to be in something in 2023. She may have just spoke that into existence. And lo and behold, um, a couple other people I was talking with who are LFC folks, and all of a sudden your name just very recently just started randomly popping up. And I was like, that's my sign. It's her turn. It's your time. And I reached out to you and you got right back to me. And I said, yeah, it's time. It's go time. Let's do this.
Oh man. Well, I'm curious to know, how did my name come up? Was it like a positive thing or
Oh yes, yes, absolutely. Um, several LFC people and myself, staff, were chatting about upcoming projects because I'm always curious as to what's my next direction, from the art table. Not that it has an awful lot to do with what they're doing, but I do like to keep things in a certain amount of, I like to work in tandem with them as much as I can, um, and create things that are relevant, do things that I think the LFC fans want to see, um, and people that are you know show stealers and that, and so in my head, I, have, different people around and I've got this crazy list going and this and that or whatever. But again, just in a very, very positive light. Well, make sure Rylee Jade's on that list. I'm like, well, it's ironic. She already is. She's already on my list. And then I kind of sat back after one particular conversation and I just scratched my head for a second and I'm like, you know what? It's time. Let's do this. And so,
yay.
gang, here's what I'm doing just real quick, just to make an art show out of this, because I'm trying to say here, I am just, like I said, tirelessly going back and forth with this beige color for a minute here, and just kind of working that now into the lightest areas possible, because my next color is a cream color. And that's going to do the same thing that I just did here, but we're taking it to that next level. And that's where I want to start making a little shine on the end of your nose and stuff.
So, how long does it take for you to start the artwork to when you finish?
I will start drawing several days in advance of doing any kind of posting at all. And the reason for that is, and I'm very honest about that, because I don't always get it right. I could have several balled up in the trash can attempts before I hit it just right. And I'm like, there we go, that's the one. Because everything is done in pencil first so that I can erase and swear and do all that wonderful stuff. And then when I get one that I'm satisfied with, then I ink it. And from there, then I'll start posting. And it's like, okay, it's time to color. But honestly, in a weird way, when I think about it now, I do take a weird risk in that, what if I screw something up on one of these? I mean, I try not to think about it too much, but because it's on paper and because most of what I do, once I've done it, I can't take it away. Um, it's gonna be there, and it should put a huge amount of pressure on me that way. But this is what I do. I'm not good at math. I'm
Oh, me
I'm not
neither.
a
Trust.
I'm not a basketball player, and I'm certainly not a female fighter. So
Oh,
with that being said, what am I going to do? And my wife and I had this discussion, probably about 3 years ago or whatever. It's probably mid 2020, sometime in the summer of 2020, that I should start drawing again. And I told her the angle that I wanted to do and what I wanted to do, and she was like, that's awesome, go for it. Because I didn't think showcasing female fighters and the companies that they work with had really been done or done the way I envisioned it. And so I was
mhm.
like, this will either tank or it won't. But the LFC, like, very swiftly adopted me and was very much into what I was doing, because I was featuring people like Jolene Hex, but in fantasy type drawings. And then it just kind of went from there.
I did see quite a few fighters being featured. I think you drew Jolene, Holly Mai, um,
Mhm.
Bella Rockefeller. Did you draw Bella Madison too?
Yes, in fact, I'm trying to think through the list here. I'm going back. It would be Jolene Hex and uh Bella Inc. were the first two fighters, and I've featured them several times in several different drawings, which are really cool to look at when I go back. I've also featured Holly May, and then Bella Madison, Bella Rockefeller, Lauren Ceccarelli. If I'm forgetting somebody, I did several Sturgis pieces that had like four different models in each one, and I know Terry London was in one of those, and I mean, I'm having Brooke Gilly, having a total brain fart at the moment, but there's been many different LFC ladies that have been so amazing to me that I've featured in one form or another. However, getting a personal showcase like this, thins that number down a little bit. And I know there's other ladies going, "Where's my?"
Well, you must be really popular. I'm sure everyone wants you to draw them.
I don't know about everyone, but I do know that like the requests and the people who is kind of coming out of here and there unexpectedly saying, "Wow, I really love what you're doing," and would you consider doing featuring me in something sometime or whatever? It's really means the world. I can't even describe that feeling exactly, but it like when I saw you on Michael's podcast and you were just really talking about how what you thought about my work and it would be really cool, and right away I was like, wow, that's outstanding. I love that. How could you not? Here's somebody complimenting your hard work that, if you're an artist, you always assume that people kind of glance at it for about 2 minutes and then go, meh, okay.
Hmm. Well, no, I looked at your other artwork and I really like it. So I had to mention it in the podcast.
And I'm glad you did because, look now you're going to get
Yes.
something that is absolutely 100% your own. Because, I mean, your name's larger than life on there. It's going to look as much like you as I can make it look with these colored pencils and my little tricks and whatnot. And I really, really hope when this adventure is all done that you're like, wow, that was really cool and crazy.
It already looks really good. Like the shading, you know, I could see, I don't know what you call it. Like you shaded my neck in a way that, it highlights certain parts, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. I
Oh,
don't know
yeah.
how to word what I'm trying to say.
Well, if I've left you speechless in any way, then that's actually a good, I mean, to me, I'm like, wow, I'm knocking somebody's socks off in a weird way. That's cool. By the way, I cheated and I didn't tell anybody. I've switched over from my beige to my cream color. So I'm filling in everything that's not going to be white on your skin now. So that's a really important thing because we're actually getting into the lightest parts of your face right now. I just didn't say anything. I just kind of started doing it, which is bad art instructor.
Uh-oh.
I know, right? Well, that's why I was always in the back of the class. Sorry, gang. The truth comes out now. But so I am literally leaving just the tiniest little spots that are white, and I'm not coloring those in. I'll show you why I'm doing that here in a second. And like when I referring back to the photograph, this side of your face is darker than this side. So for obvious reasons, you're not going to have the same amount of white on this side of your face as you will on the other. And it almost looks goofy as you're doing it, and then it makes sense when it's all done and you kind of step back. But so right in through here, we are gonna go in, and I'm pushing really hard because again, this is the blending part of this whole gig. And if you don't push hard and kind of muscle it around. And you female fighters know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you don't muscle it around a little bit, you're not going to get the result you want. And you're not going to get the win.
So how will you color my lip if you only use four colors? Or are you
Oh,
just talking about the skin?
I'm only doing the skin right now, but I actually have about 4 or 5 different quote unquote lipstick colors at the ready. Because filling in your eyes, eyebrows, and lips completes the face. So it does look weird when I'm done with the skin and the eyes aren't filled in and the mouth isn't filled in and the eyebrows aren't filled in because it's kind of like a face peel is what it almost looks like, because there's no, as soon as I plug in a little bit of color into the eyes themselves and I do the lips, then it really starts to come to life. So right now it's kind of like building a duplicate mask. It's almost like a special effects guy who's kind of coming in and creating this skin mask first, and trying to get it right, trying to get your little smile lines and the way your eyes are shaped and all that stuff. That's what I'm focusing on right now. And I'm looking right past the lips until I get the skin tones done, just so that I don't, because I'll tell you right, Rylee, I could very easily overwhelm myself and be like, oh my God, wait a minute. So I
Even
just pinpoint my focus.
even how you shaded my nose, it looks really good. Like it looks 3D.
That's always thank you, by the way. I don't want to miss saying thank you so much for all the compliments because that's just, it lifts me up so much. But that's the whole point, that art's the illusion. What I try to do is the illusion of making something look 3D in that 3D way. Because it's flat paper. That's all it is. It's the best it's ever going to be. And all I'm doing are little lines, essentially just 100,000 million little lines that are creating the illusion that there's a person standing there and all this stuff, so that that's what art is in a way. It's an illusion. It's you're a magician, trying to pull off a magic trick with, you know I got a brush, I got some colored pencils and a pencil sharpener and an ink pen. you know Watch what I do.
That's really cool. I love it.
I'm really glad you do. I mean, again, I get, and I wonder if I can put it in perspective this way, but for me, I get the honor of featuring you in a drawing like this, which means I get to essentially meet you, work with you, get your creative input on things. So not only do I get to, these drawings are a give back to all you ladies. And, I'm always saying that, but it's so true. It's a give back to all you ladies for all the stuff that you do and all your hard work. And when I get to do a drawing and that lady is enthusiastically like, yes, I want to work with you on this. We're going to share some ideas, da da da. In this particular case, how outstanding is it that you're willing to be on the drawing show for a little bit? See kind of how it's done. Um, that's the tops. I don't even know how else to put it.
That's so sweet. I think everyone is thankful that, the people that you drew before, I think we're all really thankful and appreciative.
I've felt nothing but that from everyone and the people that I've gotten to talk to at great lengths about their drawings and so on, and what it meant to them. It's really what I do it for. It's a thank you to these ladies, obviously. And I've been told that it's now superseded the fanboy art category,
And
and
boy, art.
and gone into this whole new realm of, now I'm working with, several different companies, and I'm showcasing all kinds of different, ladies and people, and I've got all kinds of crazy stuff coming up. You have no idea. But it's how else can I put it, Rylee? It's super flattering.
I'm flattered that you're drawing me and you're shading me in.
What do you think so far?
I
Getting
love
close?
it. I actually think you got the skin tone really accurately.
Well,
Like,
you're watching it happen. You are watching it happen live, which I
yes.
really thought was going to be incredibly nerve-wracking. In fact, I was standing outside, uh, having a few moments with myself going, oh, here we go. Gonna be nervous about this one, and but not really. I just relax into it, and I just go on. So many people ask me about how I draw or whatever. Now you actually get to see it because it's intuitive. I keep looking back and forth at the photo, and I am making it up as I go. I can't lie. You're watching it happen. I don't have numbers on this paper. I'm just looking back and forth and going, oh, that could be lighter, that could be darker, whatever. And as I've told you before, this part right here, what I'm doing now, is the most important part of the whole drawing. Because if I don't get this right, the rest of it is for nothing. So, all right, now here's my white. And so there's a few spots right here, just above the eye, right here on this cheek, and right here on the chin, and just a little bit here and on the tip of the nose. Just the highest points of the face that are going to reflect that light, just like it does in the photograph. I could almost circle them and see boom, 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 boom. So what I'm doing is by putting this white in there, it allows me to push that white spot out. So instead of just leave it there, you're not going to see where it blends into the cream by the time I'm done. And I don't go too far with this because I don't want to muddy up my white pencil. But I'm
How hard are
pushing.
you pushing your white pencil?
And I'm really plugging into it. This is
Oh,
really, yeah, I'm trying. I work on really thick paper, but that
oh,
allows me to abuse it as much as I want to, without being worried that the paper, it's almost not paper, but it's wonderful, and it allows me that opportunity to get tough with it when I need to, and just you know what that
wow.
means. You've done that.
Yes.
I know you've done that. I know you've unleashed the bra. So,
Most certainly, but not in front of people.
well, that's what being an artist is all about. I get to do weird stuff like that. Now I'm just going over, and I'm going to make sure I'm also backing off to sharpen that and get a nice little end to it, because the areas that I'm blending out are super, super small. So I'm going to do like this. And up here a little bit. And I brush that. And the chin down here. Ugh, you see how hard I pushed? I broke off
Uh-oh.
part of the tip. Well, it's a colored pencil. It's going to happen. It happens all the time. And I just brush it away and I keep working. But that's how hard I'm pressing to get that area to blend just so, and to make it look smooth too. And it's so important that it looks smooth on the face. Like, I can't describe how important it is. But it's one
Wow.
of those things that haunts you when you're doing somebody's face. Like, you don't want it to look rough, and you don't want it to do this. And so not only are you trying to make it look like that person, Rylee, but you're also trying to give that appearance with colored pencil of this super smooth skin. And you want it to, it's the one time where you're really trying to emulate what the photographer has done with their talented eye. They captured a moment I'm terrible with cameras, so I always happen to catch the moment, 2 seconds too late. Oh well. But some people have the talent in front of the camera. I use the images that they create that I'm like, wow, I can't stop looking at that. Like that's a really good photo. Those are the ones where, well, okay, if I can't stop staring at it that much, then I must want to draw it. Put my own spin to it then.
For sure.
And that right there, using these 4 colored pencils. And Rylee, I know you were prepared for a drawing contest, so you go ahead and get your 4 colored pencils out, and we will see how you do now. No?
You know what? I'm gonna have to try to pull Sebu in and I'll give him a pencil and he will try to draw on behalf of me. He's probably a better drawer than me.
Oh, no substitutes. Come on now. Okay, here we go. Now, just real quick, I'm going to do this because I've got a few extra minutes here, just not too long, but I've got a black and a dark brown. And what I'm going to do, and I've got this one like super, super sharp, this dark brown. So what I'm going to do real quick is go in here to your eyes and just dot in a little bit of color. And I'm not really coloring with this as much as I am just touching this pencil and pressing down. Sounds kind of crazy, but there's a method to my madness. And there we go. And yes, I did leave a little bit of white spots down there, and that's for reflections. Now with the black for a minute, I'm putting your pupils back in so that because you have to keep these centered. If you get one pupil off, you know what's going to happen.
I'll look funny.
Yeah. Nobody wants
That's
to
okay. I
Google
already
that.
look funny, probably. It's okay.
No, absolutely not. You're an absolute work of art, which is why it's so much fun to be able to draw you on this. So now what I did was I took my black and I just danced around the absolute top part of your eye here and here. And it's not enough so that it's really going to show super big right now, but the end result is going to have some real definition to that eye when you look at it. Now I'm just putting in, you can't do your makeup this fast, but I can. Watch that.
Oh my God. I think I've mentioned this somewhere. I don't know if it was on Michael's podcast or not, but when I did wrestling makeup before a show, it would take me at least 2 hours. I'm not even joking. It took me a really, really long time to do makeup.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? There's a lot involved in that I mean, I've, you know, there's a lot involved in it. I've watched my wife get ready and everything else, and I know just from that perspective, not that I try it myself, but I know that just like doing it on paper or anything else, there's a lot to it. So here we go. You asked earlier about what am I going to do with your lips. Well, I'm going to go ahead and plug those in real quick and show you just how I do that. Because one thing that I notice is the upper lip is always darker than the lower lip. Lower lip always has a tendency to have more highlight on it. So I've got 3. I've got a kind of a dark red, a regular standard, and then I've got a pink. And I'm just going to hop in here and show you exactly what I do. So I'm going to take the darkest, because I always work dark to light, and I'm going to go on your lower lip, just like so. And leave plenty of room for the medium red. But
I feel like you're putting makeup on my face right now.
just don't move.
Yeah, exactly. Don't move, don't breathe, don't shake.
Oh my
Oh
God. No, see, this is the easy because you could eat a salad right now if you wanted to, and it's going to turn out okay. So now I'm going in with the medium red. I'm not going up to the very top of the lip just yet, but I'm getting close. And I know this might be hard to see because I know the camera's a little bit farther away, but when you see the finished drawing, you'll be like, oh, okay. Like some of these things, they just don't stand out because they're not meant to, but it adds a little bit of realism to the end result. You know, people might look at that and go, I didn't realize you put 3 colors into that little tiny lip area or whatever. But, well, you know, in life, so many times one color does not make up, oh, that's a red ball. But what you're seeing is a myriad of different colors to make that quote unquote red ball. And it's the same with people and things. And okay, so now we're going down to the bottom lip here. And I'm going to take my darkest color and we're going to do like this. And I want that to be just a little bit darker. Not overdoing it though. I need a separation there. So the best way to do that in the art world is by making it a little bit darker. And then let's see here. Let's see. Very bottom of your lip, I gotta use that same color in the tiniest area, but I gotta use it because it will separate your chin from the bottom of your lip here, just like it does in the photograph. But you gotta put it in there, even if it's not noticed. All right. Now we're cooking with gas. All right, so now I don't want to kill a lot of where your highlight on your lip is going to be. And I've got this red here, so I'm just going to lightly dance in around the corners.
It looks so realistic. My goodness.
Thank you. See, that's the reaction I strive for.
No, really though, like with your shading, it it looks real.
That's awesome.
Minus the no eyebrows, but
Well, we're gonna get to that.
yeah, yeah.
That's because that actually takes probably 60 seconds to do, I imagine. Something like that. So I just want to make sure that when I highlight this, though, that it's balanced like it is in the photograph. So I got to toy around with this for a second here. But see, Riley, if you were literally sitting here at the art table, this is exactly what it would be like. You know, like, wow, how does he do that? Well, now you kind of get an idea.
That's insane.
I've been called worse.
I love it so far.
All right, now we're going to do this with the pink. And I'm going to have just a little bit more fun. Just for a second. And you'd be like, why is he putting so much work into my lower lip? Well, again, I guess that's just how I work. But I'm going to do something I hadn't thought of. Let me go in here and add a little bit of highlights at the top of these. And then I'm going to, we're going to take this white. Hang on one second. Alrighty. We're going to take this white and just on the bottom lip here, right here, I'm going to lightly go back and forth. Just the same way I told you I never color. I actually do in certain situations and back and forth because I'm blending out on both sides. And I'm going to make that highlight really kick out. And we brush it away like this. Look at that.
Wow.
Now, let's do one final thing here, Riley, before we wrap up this particular drawing show. And I'm going in with my dark brown. And I'm going to start, and if you see how I'm coloring your eyebrows, I'm literally just doing hairs. I'm just boom, 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 because it's so much more effective than you don't want to do that. You just want to see one little, a million littles gets the job done. Just like that. So now, what are we going to do to help that out? We're going to add a little black in there, and I'll show you exactly. And again, the eyebrows on this picture are like super small. So why do more than one color? Again, there's a method to the madness, Rylee. I'm actually going to take, for a quick second, I just saw something. So I'm taking the same dark brown. I was going to set it down, but I need to do this. I'm going to accentuate. We're going to go back and do a little bit more makeup, just real fast. And just really pull out some of this outstanding makeup that you got on here. You went through all that work to get these nice photos. You might as well have it in the artwork. All right. All right, there we go with that. And then we're going to take our black and just going to fill in. I'm not going to fill in the entire thing, and I'm not going over everything. I'm just using these little lines again. Just like this. Beautiful. And take that same black and just give the corners of your eye a little extra kick. Because contrast, it's always contrast, Rylee, that pulls things out and makes them pop. And I love when my artwork does that. I love when it pops and people are like, wow, damn, that looks good. They might not be able to nail down exactly why, but if it pops and they like it, then I know I did a good job. And
I like it so far.
Thank you. There it is. How about that?
Wow.
Hang on one second here while I brush that off. And then what I'm going to do, because I know you've been looking at it from a distance, I'm going to hold this up closer to the camera so you can kind of get an eyeball.
I like how you shaded my the eye with my hand over my hair.
Right there.
Yeah, like the shading looks really, really nice.
And like you can just, and what I do then too is I can actually go back and I will put in a little bit of this here, which will add the dynamics back into the other eye too. Just a little bit more, because sometimes when you're going color over color over color, sometimes stuff gets muted. But it always pulls stuff back super quick, just like that.
It's probably more challenging to do my eyes too because they're on the smaller side, and when I put makeup on, it tends to shrink it a little bit too. So sometimes it looks like
That's
one
what's
dark
so
clump.
I couldn't wait to do yours though, because the more variety of looks of people that I get to draw for me as an artist, that's a big thrill, because it's cool to take on that challenge and make somebody else look, as good as they possibly can, and as close to that. So it's actually, again, it was one of the reasons I jumped at this. I was like, this is going to be cool. You have got a really cool look, and I wanted to take that on and see if I could do it, see if I could duplicate it.
I am so honored.
That makes two of us then.
And Sebu too. He said thank you as well, even though
Well, I can't wait to get to his part, and I'm sure he'll enjoy it, and maybe he'll even put a few paw prints up on Instagram. Who knows? But there you go, Rylee. Check that out. That's how we did your face.
that's impressive. My eyes look so good in the photo.
Thank you. It's going to be, again, I hope this entire spotlight is going to be outstanding for you. You know what's coming next. I will probably do a post on this on social media tomorrow. And those of you who are watching this show, you know that you will have seen this final thing by the time you see this actual episode. But Rylee, this whole spotlight and this show is all about you. And again, I can't thank you enough for being on my little drawing show today, watching me kind of see how I did this. I can't lie, it was a little nerve-wracking to be working on your face while you're literally watching me, you know.
Oh my God, it's been an honor. I can't like seeing you draw and shape my face. That's impressive. I don't even know what other words I can use to describe how impressed I am. I can never do this, so you know.
Well, again, this is my give back to you for all your hard work, and I look so forward to seeing how much ass you kick in the LFC. It's going to be outstanding, and I really hope that when this piece is finished, that you're as thrilled about it then as you were watching your little face get done here. But at least you could be a part of it, and I'm really, really happy that you were able to join me for this. Having a guest on like you really makes doing this drawing show super, super special.
Makes me feel special too. So I'm very happy. You just made my night.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, Rylee, I'll tell you what, we're going to wrap up this episode of Sketchy and Funny, and you stay tuned because there's going to be more coming on this for sure.
I can't wait. I cannot wait to see the finished product.
Rylee, I want to thank you again for being on my episode today. Why don't you let everybody know all the social media platforms where they can find you and follow you?
So Instagram, I know my own handle. It's Rylee, RYLEE _ Jade, JADE _ wrestling. And Facebook, I think it's the same thing. It's under Rylee Jade. You should be able to see me. It's a public profile, so it shouldn't be too hard for you to find.
And your Twitter again?
My Twitter is Rylee Wrestling. No spaces, no anything, just Rylee Wrestling.
Outstanding. Well, everybody, make sure that you give Rylee Jade a follow on all those social media platforms, and look out for her because her star is rising for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for sticking in with another episode of Sketchy and Funny. I've got more stuff coming, so stay tuned for more episodes, more big announcements, and possibly even more special guests. There's no script involved, so you never know what's coming next. A huge shout out and thank you to my friends at Lingerie Fighting Championships. This show, you can now see it in the VIP section of their website. And make sure to give them a follow on Instagram and Twitter at LFC Fights. And they're on Facebook, Lingerie Fighting Championships. So go ahead and check them out if you haven't already. And I'm sure you have by now. I mean, come on. They're everywhere. Go ahead and give me a follow to Tommy Bell on Facebook and Tommy Bell Art on Instagram and Twitter or X or whatever they're calling it now. Stay tuned for more stuff. Thank you very much for watching, you guys. Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Tommy Bell Art Sketchy and Funny. Follow Tommy Bell on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Tommy Bell Art. Tommy Bell Art Sketchy and Funny is now on Spotify and on the VIP section of the official website of the Lingerie Fighting Championships. Follow our guest LFC prospect Rylee Jade on Instagram at Rylee _Jade _wrestling and on Twitter at Rylee Wrestling. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.